Back in the mid to late 1970s, this part of western Kentucky was all the talk of the town. It was an area known simply as the Wildcat territory. There was a couple investors that approached a local family that owned the land with a financial proposition. The proposition was of the development of a wilderness campground. In return, the family would make a fortune. So the next thing you know, the developers and owners struck up a deal, and with the help of the local community and the county and the proper permits, the beginning of the Wildcat Wilderness Campground was underway. The community was bustling, everybody's happy, all this money was going to pour into the community. They got the proper permits, some roads were starting to be put in, as well as electricity and city water. Now, these are exciting times for a lot of people. Advertisement for this wilderness campground development reached all across the country through radio ads, back of catalogs, newspapers and stuff. It was like the great land grab, that you had an opportunity at an affordable price to own your own plot of land near the Great Kentucky Lake. And just like the great land grab of the old Wild West, people were flocking in here from all parts of the country, excited and in a frenzy, trying to get a piece of the property that they could have near the Great Kentucky Lake. Great fishing, great hunting, all that other good stuff. Sales representative bust these people in. They picked out their plots of land, got their information and stuff like that. Heck, they'd already set up a clubhouse here with an in-ground pool. This was sweet. After a few months of the frenzy happening around the Wildcat Wilderness Campground area, and all the properties were all bought up and everything, problems arose. Something that wasn't disclosed to these folks that were brought up here with a dream and the promise of a great opportunity to own their own property by the Kentucky Lake, is that the investors and advertisers had been bussing people in this area for months at a time, selling up the same lots to several different folks. Now the confusion started. All the folks that paid out the money for these plots of land, come to find out, they really weren't the owners of that property. And when it came down to brass tacks and going to the county to try to get deeds for these properties, it was such a confusion that everything was put on hold. For starting, the county as well as local law officials got involved, fining the investors as well as the landowners, and people went to jail for embezzling money. So at this point in time, the county here in western Kentucky was in a spot where they had to make a decision. The bad guys that got arrested for embezzling people's money, all the people that spent money into the plots were without the money, so this is what they did. How they did it here in Kentucky back in the day is they held what's called a lottery auction, where they allowed public to come in and to auction off these parts of lands and be able to get deeds to them so they could do what they wanted to, and everybody would be happy. All the lots got taken care of and people's names and deeded out and all that other good stuff, but there was still a problem. So a few of the adventurous people that ended up winning on that lottery, one of the plots of land, decided to come up and they look around to find out what their opportunity was. Come find out, everything was bunch of forest and everything. A couple little roads through here because they just dropped ship and everybody took off. And now they're stuck in the bag seeing how much it's going to be to clear out a lot of land. Not to mention a lot of those plots were only 40 foot by 80 foot, just big enough to park a camper. You couldn't put a septic system in here because the health department required you to own at least 2 plots. That was impossible to do because all the rest of the plots were already bought up. Fast forwarding to 2024, what was meant to be a promising, bustling, prominent community here in the Wilderness Wildcat Campground is still nothing more than undeveloped thick woods. That's why to this day, if you go into the local town that's in this county and bring up the word Wildcat, a lot of people have hurt feelings and bad memories. After talking to some of the locals, as well as going into the county courthouse and looking through old plat maps of this general area, I've kind of got sort of the coordinates of where I might be able to find this old abandoned clubhouse here at the Wildcat Wilderness Campground. So come on, join me. Take a little ride and maybe a small hike and see if we can locate this old abandoned clubhouse. by the looks of it, this used to look like it was a road going to where I think the clubhouse might be, but it ends. You can't see anything up in there. It just stops. We're going to walk up on that bluff. I have a feeling we might be able to find it. We're going to have to do just a little bit of hiking. Let's go. Wow, these are some deep woods. Holy crap, what is this? Wow. This is concrete. Oh, I bet I know what that is. It's an old septic tank. It's brand new. One of the locals did tell me they had brought one in and it fell off the truck and it broke. It never got a chance to go into the ground. And they abandoned it right here as it sits. Wow, that means we got to be real close to that clubhouse. Let's keep walking. There's a few game trails in the area. I'm not wearing my snake gaiters today because I think it's kind of gotten cold enough where they've gone away. One of the locals has a dog. Let's continue. There's kind of an opening this way. Somebody's got a little hunting blind set up here. So there has been other people in this area. Hunting season's about over except for archery. I see something up here. It looks like a building. We may be coming up on that old clubhouse. What? There it is. Oh, we got to get in closer for another look at this. This is, wow. This is the old abandoned clubhouse, Wildcat Wilderness Campground. Look at this thing. Yeah. Look inside there. Yeah. It's hard to see. It's kind of dark up in there. There's some sort of a deck, an old electrical outlet. Let's make our way around here to this other side and see what we can find. This is definitely an old double wide. But this was meant to be a clubhouse for this wilderness campground. And you can see, look, it's got both hitches. There's two different hitches. It was brought in two different parts. Check it out inside. What does that say? Welcome home. Oh my goodness. Kind of looks like a kitchen area and a hallway down in that way. I was told they'd had pool tables up here. This was the clubhouse where all the people up here were supposed to gather and hang out and shoot the hay and barbecue and all that other good stuff. We found it. This is the old abandoned clubhouse up here at the Wildcat territory. It's just stuck in the middle of the woods. This, I presume, will be to the front entryway. Got a little deck, some steps. Gone are the yesteryears. Wow. All this effort, nothing ever happened. It was all ploy to steal people's money. Goodness, the forest is definitely taking this thing over. This is very thick, a lot of prickers. Holy cow. I gotta be careful. Oh, crap. Now it's time for us to beat feet up on out of here. That's incredible. Oh, now that was some really cool stuff here in the Wildcat territory. The history, the wilderness campground that never was, as well as an old abandoned clubhouse. I'll see you next time on The Outpost.